What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's Wandavision spoiler review. I am your host, Dallas Thompson. I am the host of the Relive the Magic podcast, and I am basically the person running Relive the Magic here on YouTube, Twitter, and other various forms of social media. And today we will be talking about some significant things that happened in episode 6 of WandaVision, and also maybe talking a little bit of theories for the next episode and the last few episodes. But before we get started, I want to invite you guys to check out our YouTube channel and our Spotify. There you'll find videos from the parks, from Disney parks, movie reviews, weekly podcasts, all sorts of stuff. On our Spotify, you'll always find our latest podcasts and some exclusive content just to our Spotify and iTunes pages as well. And typically, I am joined by my friend Alex for these spoiler reviews, but today it's just me. So this will be a little bit different, but that is okay. So this last Friday, the most recent episode came out of WandaVision, and of course, if you've been following along with WandaVision, you know that week after week, it's gotten more and more exciting. More and more questions have been posed. We've been given some answers, but more times than not, we've been left with more questions than we even started with. And this episode answered a ton of questions. It kind of brought closure to some theories people had. It kind of gave new ideas for new theories. It did a lot of things. So again, before I get any further, this is a spoiler review. So if you have not watched the episode, do not go any further than this unless you don't care. You've been warned. And so at the end of the last episode, of course, there was someone at the door. Wanda and Vision were fighting because Vision started to get suspicious about what is going on in Westview. Why is everything so weird? Why is everyone acting so strange? Where are all the children? And he starts to kind of realize Wanda's doing all of this. And right in the middle of their conversation, there's a knock at the door. It's no one other than Pietro, her brother, Quicksilver, as many people would know him as. And it's not the Quicksilver from the Marvel Universe. It's the Quicksilver, or at least it seemingly is the Evan Peters Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men universe. However, most people don't think that's actually who he is. Most people think there is someone, behind the scenes orchestrating all of this. And my view has been that Wanda is orchestrating all of this, but there is someone kind of egging it on, kind of getting something out of it. And this episode had a lot of that Quicksilver character in it, and I kind of think that it showed that there is something off about him. And you'll see if you watch this episode, you saw that, he played a lot with the kids. He was very obsessed with her children, and I don't know, maybe their powers, and I don't really know why. It's kind of something that's up in the air right now. But he kept asking. He tried to get some information from Wanda about how she was doing this. Like, she knew that she was doing this, and she even admitted to him that she was doing this. And she's like, "You don't think it's wrong that I'm doing this?" But he was like, "No, I think it's awesome." So he was very clearly trying to get some information out of her, and that poses a question, who is this guy? This isn't him, unless they're throwing a huge curveball our way, which they could be doing. But who is this guy? And, the typical theory has been it's Mephisto controlling it, just trying to mess with her. It could be Nightmare. Whoever it is, though, they know more than Quicksilver would. And how do I know this? This is not the Fox X-Men guy. I know this because if you listen to how he talks in the episode, he talks with the Pietro and Quicksilver from the MCU. He talks from his memories, from how he lived. All the stuff he talks about, being shot in the street. That didn't happen in the X-Men universe. That happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And so that alone just kind of gets rid of the idea that it is the X-Men, Pietro and Quicksilver. It is played by Evan Peters, but it is possible Evan Peters is really just someone else in this show. Mephisto, Nightmare, maybe someone completely different. And it was very interesting that he had a big role in the Halloween episode. I wonder if he'll have a role in the next episode or not, because at the end he clearly pissed Wanda off. He was like, "Oh, your dead husband can't die twice." So he obviously knows what's going on too. Like, how did he know that she did this? How did he know all that stuff? There has to be another force at play, at least in my opinion. because everyone that she's been manipulating hasn't, like, hasn't been questioning it. And if she was in control of him, he probably wouldn't be saying that kind of stuff to her. And that's just my thoughts on that. And I think in the next episode we'll find out who he is, because I think he'll be back. But a couple weeks ago, his parts in the Halloween episode and his parts in the episode before that had leaked. So I kind of knew about all that stuff before. But hopefully this one doesn't leak. Hopefully his role in this next episode and going forward is a surprise. But I think we'll get an answer on it in episode 7, because the series is coming to a close. There's 7, 8, and 9, and that's it. And another point I want to make about Quicksilver is that his big debut episode was in the Halloween episode. Everyone's dressed up. Everyone's in a costume. Whoever it is, that's their costume, supposedly, probably, if they are trying to pretend to be someone else, Pietro. So it'll be very interesting to see if that's actually him or if that's just someone else. This episode also is focused a lot on Vision trying to figure out what's going on in Westview, including him heading to the street that Wanda's telling her kids not to go to, which is where the big hex bubble ends. And then she, of course, at the end, she expands the hex when she finds out that he's trying to leave. And it's interesting because several key things are said about Vision in this episode, such as he doesn't know who the Avengers are when he talks to Agnes. It's a big thing. This is not the Vision. This is not the Vision that we know. This is probably, in my opinion, she's probably taken something and tried to well, if you see in the episode before this, she broke in to Sword to get some remains of Vision, and she probably just used what she could get and used her magic to bring him back. But it's interesting because he seems to have a mind of his own. He seems to have his own he seems to have powers. He seems to be able to make the choices he wants, because Wanda's not stopping him from going out there and looking. She finds out he's doing that, and what does she do? She doesn't tell him. She doesn't bring him back. She just expands the hex, which I think is kind of important. And I think that'll be important going forward as to who Vision is or what this Vision is. And so I guess we'll just continue to see. And at the end, when the hex expands, it takes pretty much all of Sword in with them, with the exception of a few characters. You have Darcy. She's now in the hex, and that'll be very interesting to see in the next episode or two. It's kind of unclear if the director ended up in there, which it'd be very interesting if he did. A lot of people have been theorizing that the director is a bad guy. I don't think he is, mainly because I think they did that, with Captain America: The Winter Soldier, with Hydra, with Alexander Pierce, and they've done that several times. It's kind of an overdone thing, and if that ends up being the case, I think that would be a little disappointing and a little bit of a letdown. And if he was the bad guy, I don't think that's what they're going to do. So I think that he will probably, going forward, he will probably have a change of heart, change of mind, but maybe not. Maybe he's in the show from now forward. So I guess we'll see. But we did not see him get taken into there, so it's possible he's the only one out here still. It's interesting though that it's becoming more and more clear that Sword wants to do something with Vision, and they had his body, obviously, and what do they want to do with it? That's kind of unknown at this point. Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? That could be part of the show as well. And Vision, his powers, he notices as he keeps going, he's like, oh wow, all these people out here where I'm not typically around, they're just kind of standing here. It's weird. And then what I found, one of the most interesting things I thought in this episode was his interaction with Agnes when he's about to step outside the hex. He's in this neighborhood, he's up in the air, and he just notices this car right at the edge of the hex. It's Agnes in her car, and everyone's been theorizing, oh, she's behind this. She has something to do with this because she's in this show a lot more than every other side character. She's in the opening credits all the time. She's in the one episode, she was like, should I take this from the top? I don't remember if that was episode 5. I think that was episode 5. She was like, should we take this from the top? And Wanda was like, what are you saying? In the episode before that, she was talking with Herb, and she looked like she did not want Vision to find out what was going on, And so it seems to me from this interaction that she wanted Vision to go out to the Hex. There was something that she was going to get from that. And it seems like, she was sitting there being all weird. But I think she could control it. I don't think that it was a real thing. I think she was acting. I think she was pretending. And so when she said all those things to Vision, it's possible she was trying to misdirect him. Like, Wanda's doing this. Maybe she is. And Wanda has admitted to doing a lot of it. But I still think there's a very good chance someone else is behind it. And I think we'll find that out in the next episode or two. And I think it's also worth mentioning, there's 3 episodes left. There has to be an episode that shows, how all this started. We got the look at Monica coming back from the snap. I think we need to see Wanda after Endgame. I think we need to see that. And I think we will in episode 7, 8, or 9. Probably not 9. Probably 7 or 8. I think something that could possibly come back after this is the Sokovia Accords. And I think that plays a big role in this. After Endgame, we obviously don't know what's been going on, but I think the Sokovia Accords couldn't be making a comeback into the MCU, and I think that because, I watched the Falcon and Winter Soldier trailer, and it has a lot of tie-ins back to Civil War, and I think things are going to kind of come back around to Civil War, especially after a superhero is doing all of that to the world. I think that'll become a huge plot point moving forward, but I'm not sure. Maybe not. I still do think, I'm still very convinced that at the end of this show, Wanda will be a villain, whether she is the main person doing this or not. I think in the end, she will end up a villain, not just because she did this, but because she wants to keep doing this, and because once this part is done, I think it will be like the end of her rope, if you could say that. I think that would be where she goes even further mentally insane. One thing that has been a little overlooked is the commercial in this episode. In the first 1, 2, 3, and episode 1, 2, 3, and 5, there have been commercials. There was the Strucker watch. There was the Stark toaster. There was the Lagos one, the mess you didn't mean to make. And then there was another one. I think it had to do with Ultron, I think. But these were all issues in her life that have happened, tragedies. And then this one was called Yo Magic. There was a shark, and then he was like, I feed off of Yo Magic. And then it was a food commercial. And this kid was trying to get it open, and he just basically withered away and died in a couple days. And I think that this commercial has been a little bit overlooked. I haven't seen it talked about all that much, but maybe it has been. I think it's a big thing. Like, someone is behind this. Someone is feeding off of Wanda's magic. Each thing that has been a commercial has played into her life. There's going to be one more commercial. I'm pretty sure there's one more sitcom style to go, and there will probably be one more episode. If not, this would make sense to be the last commercial. But I think it's showing there is someone else at play here, and that person is feeding off of her magic. It's doing something for her, or maybe she is the shark. Like someone's dying because they need her magic. Maybe that's Vision. I don't know. I think it's showing something very important. It has to do with feeding off of her magic, and I don't know what exactly that means. And I think we'll find out more. But I think that commercial is a lot more important than most people have given it credit for, and most people have noticed. So that's something definitely to keep in mind. And there was another thing I noticed at the very, very beginning of the episode. Every episode has had previously on WandaVision, and it has shown parts of the show. This one, of course, was the same. It showed things from the previous episodes, and it showed a clip from Age of Ultron of that Pietro. So I think that was just to get the audience acquainted with his backstory. That trying to say this is him, but I don't think that was necessarily an important thing. I do think, though, there was a line that was replaced in this week's previously on WandaVision thing, and I think that was on purpose. Many people have speculated that it means something. I think that I think it just fit with the recap more, and that's probably what it was. But I found it very interesting that they're all sharing lines for the recap, and they're really making sure that the recap shows you what you need to know. I've noticed, though, with these shows, like from the recap, you can kind of tell what the focus of this episode will be. You could kind of tell what you needed to remember, and I like that a lot. I think that's very helpful. Now, there are 3 episodes left. Supposedly, each episode will be around an hour in length. But if not, that's fine. I think the episodes have been short. While most people have said they've been short, I think they've been the perfect length, though. So whatever they do with those is fine with me. There's 3 left. One of them, I think, will be how it started. Because if you look in the promos, we've seen her with the Mind Stone, like, looking at it. And I think that's probably from when she broke in to get Vision. And that's probably when she started all of this. And so I think in that episode, I think we'll get an episode about that. Similar to the episode where we kind of caught up with Sword and saw what was going on in Westview. And so that would leave 2 more episodes of continual content. And I think that this next episode will probably be one that goes forward. This will probably be the one that's based on Modern Family or The Office or whatever it's based off of, which would be the 2000s era. I think that'll be this upcoming one. And then I think that we will get episode 8 will probably be the recap, before the show started. And then episode 9 will be the big finish, of course, leading into the upcoming movies, Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Where am I on my theories? Where am I on my predictions? Well, I've said several theories throughout this video, but I really can see I really see this ending badly for Wanda and the world. I still believe there's a chance this ends with the No More Children. I believe this could end with, with, of course, Wanda unleashing her powers majorly on the universe, leaving Doctor Strange to pick it up. But the one thing that's strange is this it does take place before Far From Home. So does this, Doctor Strange 2 and Spider-Man 3 all take place before that? Or what's the implication going to be? Is it really not going to be what we're thinking? Are they going to completely surprise us? There's supposedly a big cameo coming up. Who's that going to be? Is it going to be someone from Fantastic Four? Is it going to be someone we already know, like Hawkeye or Doctor Strange? Personally, I think it could be Hawkeye. I think it could be someone from X-Men, like Magneto or Professor X, something like that. And it could be anyone. It could be someone. It could be one from the Fox universe, because again, they're using whoever they want because of the multiverse. It doesn't mean it has to be the MCU X-Men, which is one reason I think it's possible. And so these next few episodes are going to be very important, I think, for this show. It has to finish as strong as it has been going so far. Every episode has been incredible. If I had to rank them, it'd probably be in reverse release order. This last episode is probably my favorite. 6, 5, 4, 3, and then I'd probably switch 1 and 2. 1 was a really good. I liked that one more than I liked 2, I think. But every episode has been amazing. I've rewatched every single one of them several times, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this season ends. And so, those of you watching, I just want to ask you, what did you think of this week's episode, and what do you think is going to happen in these last 3 episodes? Have you been impressed with the show so far? Have you not been impressed with the show so far? I've really been enjoying the weekly discussions. I've really been enjoying theorizing about it with everybody. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this ends and leading into Falcon and Winter Soldier. And, of course, the movies that will follow this storyline, Spider-Man 3 and Doctor Strange 2. Thank you all for tuning in today. Join us later this week for Relive the Magic podcast, as well as several other smaller videos like this. And we'll see you next week for the Episode 7 spoiler review. Have a great day.